And it is time. Time for what? Time for more JoJo action. That's right. It's Chapter 8, The Stone Mask, Part 1. We open up with a cool little drawing of Jonathan. This is one of his main outfits, I guess you could say. And it looks kind of cool. He's got that one hat that has like the two bills. Kind of reminds me like Sherlock Holmes, you know, where it's like cause like at this point in the story, it's kind of being like a detective trying to figure out what the medicine is, and yeah, I guess that's the idea on it. He's got like this checkerboard thing on his jacket cuffs. He's wearing. It looks like he's wearing some sort of scarf. He's got like ornaments on his jacket thing. He's got a wound. I read the chapter earlier today. I don't think that he gets a wound like that, but that's kind of cool, I guess. I like his fingerless gloves. I like the little emblem on them. And yeah, we got the JoJo's underneath. Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. So we're in George's bedroom, and Butler's like, Master JoJo, what's going on? And JoJo's like, Father, I'm gonna be going to London for a few days. I'm gonna have these specific doctors looking after you. Only accept help and assistance from these doctors. No one else. You got that? Please don't ask why the need for this for right now. Just please listen to me. And the butler's taking it personally. He's like, "Oh, what? Is my care not up to snuff?" Well, yeah, you haven't been able to take the medicine up the stairs, so I'd say so. Yeah, your care has not been up to snuff. And George says, "No, let's do as JoJo says. I have no idea what his reasoning is, but I believe in my son." So it's a nice little moment. I mean, he doesn't change. He was kind of a dick to Jonathan when he was younger. But it's a nice little moment. As a side note, Jonathan's wearing this black jacket on the first page, but then you go to the second page when he's reacting to what George is saying. He looks like he's wearing an entirely different jacket. It's got like black and white stripes. Well, that's kind of cool. And he's riding the carriage out. Looks like it's during a snowstorm. And looks like he's wearing a top hat, wearing a black jacket, and he's got the poison in his hands, and he's thinking to himself, "Ooh, you know, he might need an antidote if it gets too bad." And he reaffirms to himself that he will protect his father. Then it cuts back to George, and could be a servant, it could be one of the doctors, I'm not sure. But this guy's like, "Oh, what a remarkable young lad JoJo's grown up to be." And George is like, "Yeah, that's why I was always so strict on him." And whenever I watch that in the anime, it just I don't know what it is. It's just always feels like it just cuts away from that scene really abruptly. Like it makes you think like George might elaborate on that, but he just doesn't. I don't know. We got another shot of the outside of the mansion. Looks like the snowstorm's really going. Snow looks pretty thick. And Dio, he's really decked in it this time. He's got a cool looking jacket. It's like a grid paper design. He's got a really ornamental looking shirt underneath it. He looks sharp. He's got this long knife. He's prying open one of Jonathan's cabinets, and he finds the stone mask. He's got this. It has this glow effect on it, and you can see Dio looking at it. And it kind of looks a little interesting. His neck looks a little weird in that. He takes one of Jonathan's notebooks out, And he's scorning himself because he realizes that Jonathan took both the letter and the antidote, or not the antidote, the poison with him. But he says he had another reason, and that's involving the stone mask. And then he's looking through Jonathan's notes. We can't really make out what they're saying. It's just kind of scribbles. But yeah, it looks like Jonathan's been drawing diagrams of the stone mask, of the direction the spikes poke out, and it's also showing what it would look like if those spikes came out while someone was wearing the mask, and like how they would go into their brain. And Dio's like, oh wow, JoJo's research has gone a lot further than I expected. And then he's thinking back to when they were fighting that one time in chapter 5, and his blood went on the mask, and how he also noticed that. But the really weird thing about this is, so it shows a panel from chapter 5, and on first examination, it just looks like it was straight copied over, which that's not really a problem. But like, looking at these side by side, there's actually a couple really minute differences. The general architecture of the drawing is very much the same, but in the original chapter 5 drawing, there's slightly more shading. It looks like there's more shading on his cheek where he got hit, more shading on his forehead. I don't know, maybe it was erased so it would look clearer in chapter 8 when it comes back. Or maybe this is a sign that those shadings were a last-minute change? Last-minute addition to that page? I don't know, the stone mask itself seems to be missing some shading in chapter 8. Like, it looks like there's more shading in the original chapter 5 one. But that looks like about the only changes. Kind of weird, even the blood that's kind of off to the side of Dio's face, that it's like blood splatters, even that looks pretty much the same. So that's kind of interesting. That so specific differences there are in that one. But yeah, Dio is thinking to himself, oh, well, I don't really care why this was made or what they were using it for. It's not going to make me any money. But, ooh, I could use this for something. I could use this to kill JoJo. And, he mentions that he can't do it with a gun or a knife, because then they'll be able to trace the weapon back to him. But if he puts the mask on JoJo and has it activate, he can make it look like Jonathan was a victim of his own experimentation. And the case will be closed from there. And he's like, JoJo, your research will be the end of you. He's got like a smirk little look on his face. But yeah, we cut to London. Looks like it's snowing there pretty bad, too. You see like the rooftops and everything. The carriage is reeling his horses back in. The carriage master's reeling his horses back in. This panel looks really weird, in that it's kind of hard to tell what exactly is going on. You can't really make out what the carriage driver dude looks like. You can barely see the shape of the horses. And yeah, in the next panel, he just looks like a little scrunkly little dude. He looks really scared. Yeah, Jonathan's like, hey, what's the problem? Why'd you stop? He's like, oh, I can't go any further. This leads into Ogre Street. That's the place where all the world's dangers comes from. A gentleman of your caliber should never, ever think of going down there. And Jonathan, he comes out and he's like, I know, I'm going in anyways. And it's that one infamous shot of him with like the really small head. Yeah, we get a good look of what he was wearing in the cover page for the chapter. Well, it's basically the same thing. He's got a little bow tie. I don't think we saw the bow tie earlier. Let me check real quick. No, we didn't see the bow tie. So he has a bow tie on now. What a thrilling new development that is. And he thinks to himself that he wasn't able to get any results from the university lab because it was Eastern medicine. They couldn't really crack it. But they were able to determine that it likely came from the East. So it's something that Jonathan can go off of. So he figures, okay, I guess I'll go to London where he grew up, and I'll see if there's any Chinese poison sellers anywhere. And the cabbie's trying to persuade Jonathan not to go, but he's like, I know, but even if I lose this right hand in the process, I have a reason why I need to go. And then the carriage driver goes back to the mansion. He tells Dio, and Dio's like, what the? Joe, he went to Ogre Street by himself, the fucking clown, Jesus Christ. And the other servants are like, ooh, we can't tell Lord Joestar. And Dio's thinking, oh, well, I might not need to kill him after all. He's practically a dead man at this point. And we cut back to Jonathan. He's going down Ogre Street. We see that weird wall that looks like a creepy human face. I don't know, that's just kind of a cool thing. I guess it's kind of a cool thing. Enriches the world, I guess. Like, it doesn't really exist except to exist, but yeah. And we see it's a cat with a puppy in its mouth, and it's like under a blanket or something, and it comes out of the snow. And I'm like trying to understand what, huh? Like what's the cat? What was the? I have many questions. Like what? How did the cat manage to carry a blanket with it? Why? What is? But anyways, our dog death count is up to 2 now. That's something. Well, then the boys show up. The boys! They're here, finally. We got the boy, the other boy, and the other boy. And they're here to fuck Jonathan shit up. And, yeah. So, we get the boys, the tattoo guy goes to go stab Jonathan with his knife. And Jonathan, like the super mega Chad he is, he just grabs the knife with his hand. And there's this weird thing where when he does this, his hat just jumps straight off of his head. Cool? I get that it's just there for effect, but like he has a clear look of like determination on his face. Is it his sheer willpower that is getting his hat to move off of his head? But yeah, the tattoo guy's like, what the hell? What are you doing? And he's like, oh well, what do you think's gonna happen when I pull back, huh? You're gonna lose those 4 fingers of yours. He's like, try it. The moment you do that, my knee is gonna kick your groin so hard. And yeah, that gets the tattoo guy to shut up. And he's like, I have a reason to lose these 4 fingers. I'm protecting my father. I'm protecting my family. I'm in a different league than you rats. And then this other guy comes in. He's like a Chinese martial artist. He goes in to kick his head while he's distracted by the tattoo guy. And Jonathan goes to punch him. We don't really see it, but it looks like he's punching both of them simultaneously. But like, his other hand should be on the knife. Like, how did he do that? But whatever. Jonathan says, you would know where they sell Eastern poison. It's just like, oh wow, we're already racial profiling. I see. In this one translation, I would read. He would just straight up call him an Oriental. Like, I get it, it's a different time period, but like, damn. Oh, wow. And, yeah, that's the chapter. That's the volume, too. So, before we talk about that, we got a little, drawing of Jonathan and Dio. Looks like they're as kids. They're running against each other. And I like this because you can see that Dio has his arm over Jonathan. So it's like showing him that Dio's always like one step ahead of Jonathan, which is kind of cool. Although this specific image is better suited to when they were kids, like the first 5 chapters, the Dio Brando the Invader arc. Not so much this one, but we have made it to the end of the first volume. That's right. We are at that point. And, I'm just gonna take a minute to talk about this volume cover we've been seeing this whole time. So, this is probably one of the most recognizable volume covers, because, the anime, went with a modified version of this where it was, like, them as adults, and it didn't have Danny, which was such a crime. But I really like this from a design perspective. Because, we got Jonathan. He's looking straight forward. We can see his upper torso. It doesn't look like he's really hiding anything. He's really up front. We got Dio behind him. He's got his head turned. His body is turned away, as if he's hiding himself from everyone else. He's got his head tilted, kind of towards Jonathan. He's got his arms crossed. It's kind of hard to tell. He's got his arms crossed because he has the knife in his right hand and he's holding the stone mask in his left hand. So you got him facing away from the audience. You also got him crossing his arms, which also shows that he's kind of hiding something. And I always thought his right hand looked a little yellow compared to the complexion of his face. Not a huge deal, but it's just a good drawing. It always looks like Dio is pointing the knife towards himself, which is kind of weird. But it looks like they're outside the Joestar mansion. It's all dark outside. There's tombstones. You see bats even up at the top. So I think that's probably the strongest early hint that this story is going to be involving vampires and stuff. Danny looks pretty good. It's kind of unfortunate that Araki used to know how to draw dogs, and now he doesn't know how to draw dogs anymore. We'll be getting to that at some point. But yeah, I love what Jonathan's wearing. It looks pretty detailed. There's a lot to look at. He's got a bow tie. He's got this vest-looking thing on. It looks really detailed. Got these spiral things. Looks nice. I like the coloring. It looks pretty good. Yeah. So, back to the chapter itself. It was all right. We got Jonathan in a new place. He's in Ogre Street right now. That's something. And other than that, it's kind of a nothing chapter. Because, we know that, okay, Dio's gonna try to kill Jonathan with the stone mask. And he's like, oh, well, maybe I don't need to anymore. And it looks like Jonathan's gonna get himself killed. But, it's kind of an exposition chapter, I guess. We saw the man, the myth, the legend, Speedwagon for the first time. We don't know his name yet, but he's Speedwagon. That's cool. We're gonna see more of him. So, I guess that's where I'm gonna leave you.